So what will the stock market do in 2025? Everybody's asking this, and this is the time of the year that we start to get these predictions for what will happen next year. Well, this is going to be really entertaining because some of these forecasts are comical. And I'm going to give you examples of where the forecasts have gone wrong, like for this year. How accurate, how worthwhile are these stock market forecasts? And I'm referring to the S&P 500 when I talk about the stock market. And then also there's going to be a little bit of a blockbuster here at the end. So here, where are we going? What are the predictions for 2025 for the S&P 500? Here we are as I record this in mid-November. This is from a newsletter by Sam Rowe, who's a chartered financial analyst. He's interviewed somebody from Morgan Stanley, Michael Wilson, who's predicting, his base prediction is that the stock market will be up about 10% by the end of 2025. Well, that's a real kind of an average forecast. And in fact, I have this from Morgan Stanley, UBS, Goldman Sachs. They're all predicting about 9 or 10%. So this is just kind of a middle of the road prediction. At least it's being predicted to be up, which is nice. But this is the funny part. It said, this is a quote, "Looking forward to 2025, we think it will continue to be important for investors to remain nimble around market leadership changes, particularly given the potential uncertainty that the recent election outcome introduces," Wilson wrote. Election outcome, that's Trump. So uncertainty, you have to be kidding me. Nobody knows what is going to happen. And so he goes on to say, "This is also a reason why we are maintaining a wider than normal bull versus bear case skew. The base case is that the S&P finishes 2025 at 6,500, which is up 10%. The best case is that it's at 7,400, which is up 25%. Boy, wouldn't that be great? The worst case scenario is 4,600, which is down 22% from where we are now as I'm recording this. So on average, up 10%. Best case is that it is up 25%, worst case down 22%. That is a 47% range. How useful is this? What I want to say about this is the uncertainty is enormous because you are talking about a president coming in who is trying to get 11 million or more workers out of the economy. So these are workers and spenders. And it's not just undocumented people, but those on temporary protected status, the dreamers, the issue of tariffs. And these are all going to be little other videos. The tariffs are a tax increase. They're inflationary, and there is a tit for tat. So not only would we raise tariffs, our competitors would raise tariffs on American products. So there's so many effects here to take into account. Now, let's look at the forecasts for this year to see how accurate are these stock market forecasts. Well, it's really interesting. I have them here from JP Morgan predicted 4,200, the S&P 500. The stock market, as I am recording this, is up about 25% year to date. And it is way higher than this. We're at about 5,900. And here, all of these are much lower. Not one of these is close. They are off, the most accurate one is only off about 7.5%, but others are off about 30% in their forecast. All to the low side. The market is higher right now than all of these forecasts. So most of these were not even close this year. And that is how it goes, that some of these forecasts are off. Here's the blockbuster that I started to mention. There's another forecast. Brian Wesbury, the chief economist of First Trust Portfolios. Watch the next video because I have a big mouth and I'm going to use it. One of the things that we have said about the politics is separate your political points of view from the economy, from your investing, from your stock market feelings. We were telling people, don't worry about the election night. We thought the market would have a relief rally, it would probably go up, which it did. Now, these forecasts here, and what's really entertaining is, this is me. I print these out every year. So I have a running annual look back at these forecasts. And when I mention about the politics, here back December 12, 2022, First Trust portfolios predicted for 2023, we would have a down year. Our forecast is that the US economy enters a recession around mid-2023. So no recession in 2023. And the stock market soared up about 22%, actually up 24%, which was 22% higher than what he predicted in 2023. So what did he predict for 2024? So I printed this out almost a year ago, December 26th, 2023. A mild recession and S&P 4,500. It's 2 years in a row predicting a recession and a very poor performing stock market. And the stock market is up 25%. Here was the prediction for this year. Putting this all together, including the fact that the S&P 500 closed on Friday, this is the end of 2023, at 4,754, we think it finishes 2024 at 4,500, which is lower. He predicted a loss for this year. It's about 5.5%. So he is way, way, way off. 2 years in a row. In fact, the stock market right now is up over 32% from his forecast. How can you be so wrong to such an extent 2 years in a row? The answer is, as you're going to see in my next video, politics. There is a lot of evidence that these forecasts are based on a political interpretation of the government, which was the Biden administration. And I'm going to say that because what just came out from First Trust portfolios